kids. So we're back in my mom's bathroom because I need light and it's kind of getting dark outside. But what I want to talk about today, so I only have about 3.5 weeks left of the competition season. And last time, well, not last time, but before I started this prep was right about when I started vlogging. So I was still reverse dieting. And I got a lot of questions about, how do you reverse diet? Like, what happens? What's going on? What are you doing? And it was it wasn't irrelevant for me to talk about because I started dieting, but I didn't feel like it was appropriate. Like, I wanted to focus on the prep and then save the reverse diet talk for, like, the actual reverse diet. So since the reverse diet is approaching, I figured this would be a good time. So to those who asked, I've always been very open, in the past, through all of my reverse diets, except for the very, very first one that I did when I first learned about flexible dieting, but like all my contest prep, reverse diet, contest prep, reverse diet, contest prep has been under the supervision of a coach in terms of nutrition. So Heidi has always done my nutrition. Literally, she has given me a set of macros since January of 2014. So shout out to you, Heidi, for holding it down. But with this reverse diet, I want to try and do it on my own. It's no hard feelings towards Heidi at all. It's actually more of me wanting to take the things that I've learned from her and apply them to myself. So literally take the things that she's done for me and try and do them myself. Just because I've been flexible dieting since September of 2013. And, I've always wanted to be that person that can do their own macros and feel comfortable with it. And I feel like I kind of have I feel like I have a solid knowledge base now to do that, with as many cutting and bulking, or not even bulking, like reversing, whatever. As many of those cycles as I've been through, I feel like I have the ability now to do it for myself. It's just nerve-wracking for me because I'm hypercritical, so it's easier for me to have someone look at my stuff and be like, okay, this is what we need to do for you, instead of me being like, okay, I need to eat more. That's really hard for me. So, with that, I nerded out a little bit the other day. So some of you may have seen this on my Twitter. I posted it on there. But what I did was I made a graph of my first contest prep, then my first post-contest reverse diet, second contest prep, second contest reverse diet, and then third contest prep. And the comparisons here are weight versus caloric intake. So, excuse me. The green line is weight, so that little guy right there, and then the yellow line is caloric intake. So, timeline here. When I ended my first contest prep in June of 2014, I ended at 135 pounds and between 1,400 and 1,500 calories. And so then over about a 10-week time span, so from the beginning of June to mid to end August, I got up to 142 pounds and about 2,100 calories. And then around 11 weeks later, after my contest prep was finished and I did my last show, I was at 135 stage weight again, and then around 1,600 calories total intake. And then I had a much longer reverse diet season, so from November to March, about 5 months, I got up to 146.5 pounds and about 2,600 calories. And then this prep cycle, so this point right here is 17 weeks. I'm going on my 18th week right now, at 137 pounds and again around 1,650 calories. So pretty similar to where I ended last season at, in terms of calorie intake. So that is that. I'll leave that there for a hot minute. Okay. I wanted to make that graph, one, because I get bored really easily, and I'm a nerd, and two, because I wanted to see the fluctuation for myself so that I could kind of have, a starting point to go off of going into this reverse diet. So, my first reverse diet was only around 10 weeks long. Put on about 7 pounds in that 10-week time span, gained about 500 or 600 calories back. And maintained that weight for a couple of weeks before starting to cut again. So that one was a shorter one, and then I went through a by the end of my third show, that was around an 11 or 12 week diet cycle. So cutting for 11 to 12 weeks. Before my first show that season, it was only a 6-week cut. And then my second reverse diet was about 5 months long, added about 12 pounds, and then added almost 1,000 calories from where I ended my prep at. So, and then here now, I've had to cut about 1,000 calories, which has sucked. I feel awful, like real tired and fatigued and gross and hungry. But cut around 1,000 calories, and I'm at around 137 pounds stage weight. So I'm just gonna dive in and rant because there's a lot to cover here. With my first reverse diet season, we had some physique goals, obviously, adding a little upper body size, improving leg conditioning. Leg conditioning is always going to be my thing. So after that first shorter reverse diet, I went into contest prep, had a really great season. It was like my favorite season by far yet. That was just really, really fun. And I ended about 100 calories above where I ended my first prep at the same weight, so that was nice. 100 calories, what could I do? But then that off season was when I started working with Eric, and I realized, I want to step on a national level stage, so I need to have a significant amount more upper body size, coupled with better leg conditioning. So I took a longer off season to build necessary muscle, and along with that came fat gain. So yeah, I added, like I said before, I added about 12 pounds, but my upper body gains have paid off significantly. My legs are leaner than they've ever been. So, that added 12 pounds of muscle and fat combined, along with the extra 1,000 calories, no regrets. It was worth it. It was necessary. And I also got significantly stronger, which contributed to more active muscle tissue, denser muscles, a denser looking physique, which has been really great. Like, I look the best I've ever looked right now. But that also contributed to a slightly heavier stage weight, so I'm about, 2.5 pounds above what I would have gone on stage at, this time last year, or what I did go on stage at this time last year. So I'm a denser person, but still around that 1,600 calorie intake. So something I noticed here, for all of those preps, and all of those, dieting cycles, I end up around the 1,400, 1,600 calorie range in order to be at what is needed of me to be lean enough for stage. Regardless of if I took a 10-week off season and only got up to 2,100 calories, or when I took a 5-month off season and got up to 2,600 calories. Now, obviously, there's a lot of variables involved in that, but I know we all, we talk about, metabolic gains, like if you work up to luxury macros in the off season, you should be able to cut on luxury macros. And for me personally, that has not been the case. So I just want to shout out to everyone else out there who that's not the case for, because I think we get this, we idolize people that can cut on a high amount of calories, and that's just not how it's going to be for everyone. I don't know how much of that can be improved over time. Your basal metabolic rate, I don't know how much of that can be changed. And like I said, I have no data to back any of this up. This is just a personal experience, a case study, what I've noticed with myself, etc. But it doesn't make you any better or any worse of a competitor or whatever you are if you have to get down to a low calorie intake to reach your necessary level of leanness. Now, do I think you should beat yourself into the ground doing it? But yeah, if you're not dieting on luxury macros, you're not the only one. We're all out here. We are all struggling, okay? Okay. But with that, one of my friends, I guess I would call him a friend, we interact on social media. I don't know, I think him and Robin are adorable, but Jeff Nippard, I'm pretty sure it's on the Ice Cream for PR's channel. I'll link that in the description. But there was one video where he talked about, and this is where I'm starting to talk about my reverse diet plan. He talked about mini cutting cycles. People talk about that pretty often. He went a lot more in depth about it, and one of the things he was talking about was, when is it appropriate to implement a mini cut and who is it appropriate for? And one of the things he talked about was people that struggle to get to their stage weight, who struggle to stay lean, and, just people who struggle to lose weight in general in terms of like a bodybuilder contest prep type situation, and he made the point of saying, you know, mini cuts might be appropriate for the competitor who doesn't have a significant amount of muscle to add, but struggles to get down to their stage weight or to maintain leanness and conditioning. So I'm like, when I watched this, I was like, Jeff, you're talking to me, aren't you? You're talking about me. And I was like, hey, that applies. That's me. That's my life. But the reason I want to experiment with implementing some mini cut and mini bulk cycles is because I struggle to maintain conditioning. I get fat really easily. I'm an easy gainer is what I'm trying to say. I was never fat. Don't jump on me for that. But yeah, I gain weight very easily. I struggle with conditioning, particularly in my lower body. My upper body shreds very quickly, and my lower body is just like, nope, thunder thighs for life. So there's that. And I don't have a significant amount of muscle mass that I need to add. I would like to add a little bit, but I don't have near as many gains necessary for me to compete again as I did, you know, going into my last reverse diet. So I will be implementing some mini cut and mini bulk cycles, around 6 to 8 weeks for each one. Obviously the cut is not going to be as rigorous as a contest prep, but yeah, it'll be, you know, 6 to 8 weeks of reversing and then 6 to 8 weeks of cutting. I want to see if that has any impact on, you know, what I'm able to intake calorically. I'm hoping that what happens is, like, you know, you bulk for a little bit and then you cut, and then the next time you bulk for a little bit, and then maybe you're able to cut on a little bit more, and then you bulk for a little bit. Like, I'm hoping to get kind of a stair effect with that. Maybe. I don't even know if that's the right word, but that's what I'm hoping for. So I guess we'll find out. And you know, my body is my experiment, so that's why I'm trying all of this stuff. And so yeah, that's that. And then also refeeds. I get asked about refeeds a lot. So yeah, my first reverse diet season, I did have a weekly refeed, free meal, whatever you want to call it, except don't use the word cheat meal around me because I don't like that. But yeah, and it gave me, you know, an opportunity to, you know, make plans with friends, go out, have a meal with friends, family, whatever, and not have to worry about numbers, just living like a normal person. What a radical thought that is. But it is difficult to transition back to normal life after competing and after having to be so meticulous with your diet for so long. And then my second reverse diet, so the one that was, you know, the 5-month long reverse diet, I did not have weekly refeeds of any sort programmed. Now, with that being said, just because it wasn't programmed doesn't mean Heidi was like, no, you're not allowed to do this. That's not how it is at all. It became one of those things where it wasn't programmed, but if I, you know, felt the desire to go out and have an untracked meal, I was like, that's what I did. But because it wasn't programmed, I am the type of person, and this is where you have to know yourself. I'm the type of person that I'm very good at following directions, and I'm very good at having a plan to follow. I'm very type A in that I like things to go as they're supposed to go. So the fact that I was not told, hey, go have a meal and don't track it, I kind of avoided doing it subconsciously, just because, well, like, I wasn't told to do it, so why would I do it? So I got to thinking about this as I was trying to plan my off season. I was like, in a 5-month time period, you only went outside of your macros and like didn't track, you know, 3-4 times in a 5-month time span. And I was like, wow. So I got to thinking, and I was like, you know, only going off plan 3 or 4 times in a 5-month time span, on top of coming off of what will be a 22-week diet, I feel very enclosed in my macros, very just inside of a bubble in terms of tracking and being so meticulous. Like I said, it's mentally exhausting to do that for a long period of time. So I would like to regain some of the freedom and flexibility. So I'm going to, the plan right now is, at least, I will be programming for myself, you know, weekly refeeds, weekly free meals, whatever. Again, I mean, not again. Now that being said, it's not an excuse to, you know, go and binge like once a week. It's just an excuse to go like have a nice meal, like, and the fact that I have a boyfriend now, like, hey, I can actually like go out on dates instead of having to go get sushi by myself and froyo by myself and have someone hit on me and be like, were you just eating ice cream by yourself over there on that bench? Like, that actually happened once. So Eric, we're going on dates in off season. So yeah, I want to program those into my diet because I feel like it'll be better for me mentally. This has been a very exhausting prep and very exhausting in terms of having to track everything that I put into my body at all times. And I think that a mental break is necessary. And I've always been, you know, really open and really candid with you guys about what I do. So that's why I'm being open and candid about this. Like, yes, tracking macros over a long period of time meticulously, like in a contest prep situation, is very tiring and taxing. And I personally think that it's necessary to take somewhat of a break from that and regain true flexibility, because sticking within a rigid set of macros day in and day out for months and months and months on end, that's not truly flexible. You know, I mean, it serves its time and its place in a contest prep situation, but you've got to be able to get out of that, and I need to be able to get out of that. So I'm excited to share the reverse diet journey with you guys. I'm ready to crush these next 3.5 weeks, and I will give you more details on how I'm going to, or on how I calculated my reverse dieting macros, and how I will be increasing them, you know, weekly as the reverse goes on, as well as all the mini bulking, mini cutting cycles and all that good stuff. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to touch base with you guys and make a vlog that wasn't me just eating Chicago. So yeah, that's it for today, and I'm out.